1800 hours, Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Ali Ahmed. First, the headlines. Information Minister says Pakistan under the leadership of Prime Minister has dedicated all its efforts to Project Kashmir dispute at all international fora. The Senate today unanimously passed a resolution condemning the moving of chairperson of Dukhtaran-e-Millat, Asia Andrabi, to Tihar jail in New Delhi. In occupied Kashmir, complete strike was observed today against the Indian aggression and attack on Muslim identity of the territory by Modi-led fascist government. National Assembly was informed today that 50,000 new utility stores will be established across the country to provide essential food items to the people at affordable prices. United Nations has decided to hold upcoming session of the General Assembly in September this year in virtual mode due to COVID-19. China has asked the United States to close its consulate general in Chengdu. And now the news in detail. Minister for Information and Broadcasting Shibli Faraz says Pakistan under the leadership of Prime Minister Imran Khan has dedicated all its efforts to project the Kashmir dispute at all international fora. Addressing a seminar on Kashmir under siege organized by the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting in Islamabad today, he said Pakistan shall continue to lend its moral and ethical support to the Kashmiri brethren in their just struggle for the right to self-determination. The Information Minister said the subjugation of Kashmiri Muslims has been going on for the last several decades. However, the present Indian government has crossed all limits of human dignity and oppression by abrogating the special status of the disputed territory. Shibli Faraz said a year has gone by since Modi government revoked Articles 370 and 35A of the Constitution, and the Kashmiri Muslims continue to face abject misery at the hands of Indian occupation forces.
Modi Sarkar has surpassed all the Delhi governments of the bygone days by abrogating Articles 370 and 35A of the Indian Constitution that conferred special status on occupied Kashmir, besides pledging not to change the demographic status of this territory.
The minister said that India has unleashed a reign of terror in the occupied territory in the shape of killing of unarmed freedom seekers, siege, lockdown and total blockade of communications. Speaking on the special occasion, Special Assistant on National Security Division Moeed Yusuf said India is involved in the grim violations of basic human rights in occupied Kashmir and breaching the international laws every passing day as well. He said the incumbent government has vigorously highlighted the Kashmir issue with the help of its effective diplomacy and strategy.
India is breaching international law, not only in terms of the UN resolutions, but every single day in terms of how they have handled the illegally occupied territory since August 5th.
The Senate today unanimously passed a resolution condemning moving of chairperson of Dukhtaran-e-Millat, Asia Andrabi, to Tihar jail in New Delhi. The resolution was moved by the Senator Mushahid Hussain Sayyed. The House condemned her moving to isolation punishment ward of Delhi's notorious jail. The House sees this action of Modi regime against an innocent person whose only crime is raising her voice for freedom of occupied Kashmir. Responding to a call attention notice, Minister for Aviation Ghulam Sarwar Khan informed the House that Pakistan will file an appeal for the resumption of flight operations in Europe by the end of this month. He said the suspension of PIA flights by European Union Aviation Safety Agency is not for the first time. In occupied Kashmir, complete strike was observed today against the Indian aggression and attack on Muslim identity of the territory by Modi-led fascist government. Call for strike and demonstrations was given by all parties Hurriyat conference. It was also aimed at protesting against the forcible eviction of people from their lands across the territory, especially those living near military camps. The All Parties Hurriyat conference had also called for anti-Indian demonstrations after Jummah prayers today. However, occupation authorities imposed strict restrictions by deploying troops and police personnel across the territory to keep people indoors. In a statement in Srinagar, the All-Party Hurriyat Conference, thanking the Kashmiri people for today's strike, said that the ongoing struggle would continue till the achievement of cherished goal of freedom. It also appealed world human rights organizations to play their role in early release of illegally detained Hurriyat leaders, including Muhammad Yasin Malik, Muhammad Ashraf Sehrai, Shabir Ahmad Shah, Asiya Andarabi, and Masarat Alam Bhatt. The National Assembly was informed today that 50,000 new utility stores will be established across the country to provide essential food items to the people at affordable prices. Responding to a question during Question Hour, Minister for Communication and Postal Services Murad Said said youth can also apply for loan to set up utility store under Kamyab Jawan program. Federal Minister for Law and Justice Farooq Naseem informed the House that being a responsible state, Pakistan has promulgated an ordinance to give effect to International Court of Justice judgment in Indian spy Kulbhushan Yadav case. Taking floor in the National Assembly, he said that ICJ in its judgment had asked Pakistan for effective review of the sentence of Commander Kulbhushan Yadav announced by the Military Court of Pakistan on the charges of espionage. He said it is obligatory for Pakistan to comply with the International Court of Justice judgment. Otherwise, India can move United Nations Security Council to get imposed sanctions against Pakistan. He said that the ordinance does not call for setting aside the decision of the military court, and it is only aimed at complying with the International Court of Justice judgment. This is Radio Pakistan. Governor Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Shah Farman and Chief Minister Mahmood Khan called on Prime Minister Imran Khan in Islamabad today and discussed overall situation of the province, including the development projects. Minister for National Food Security Syed Fakhr Imam says the federal and provincial governments are making coordinated efforts to eliminate locusts from the country. Briefing the media at National Locust Control Center in Islamabad today, he said that the presence of the crop-munching pest has shrunk to 5 or 6 districts in Balochistan, 2 in Sindh, and in some areas of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Punjab. He therefore stressed the need for remaining alert and prepared to cope with the challenge. There is a significant improvement in the number of recoveries from COVID-19 in Pakistan, with the tally reaching 219,783. According to latest statistics, 1,209 new cases and 54 deaths were reported during the last 24 hours. The number of confirmed coronavirus cases in the country has risen to over 270,000. The United Nations has decided that the upcoming session of the General Assembly in September this year will be held in a virtual mode due to COVID-19. The world body has decided that the world leaders will submit their pre-recorded video statements for the session. This will be the first time in the United Nations' 75 years history that the high-level session of 193 member states organizations will be held in a virtual mode. United Nations Special Envoy for Syria, Guy Pedersen, will convene a new session of Syrian Constitutional Committee next month in Geneva. Speaking at a regular press briefing in Geneva today, Head of Information Office of United Nations Headquarters, Alessandra Vellucci, said Special Envoy has told the United Nations Security Council that he had confirmed decision with co-chairs of the committee. China has asked the United States to close its consulate general in Chengdu. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of China in Beijing informed the United States Embassy of its decision to withdraw its consent for the establishment and operation of the United States Consulate General in Chengdu. And finally, the weather report. Mainly dry weather is expected in most parts of the country during the next 24 hours. However, rain thunderstorms is expected at few places in Gilgit-Baltistan and Kashmir. And that is the end of the news. For more news and analysis, log on to our website radio.gv.pk. And for live video streaming of our bulletins, visit the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.